Hello friends, welcome to another session from the book Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. And we have been talking about how to talk about various speeches, and today we are going to discuss words from session number 27. So without further ado, we start. And last time we had done ventral and dorsal. So ventral means belly, and it refers to the front side or the belly side of the body or of anything. Okay, so we had ventral and dorsal, and two more words are there, ventricles and auricles. So first of all, these two there, ventricles and auricles. So first of all, these two things are the two chambers of our heart. Okay, so upper chambers are called uh, or in fact this front chamber is called ventricles, okay, which you can see here, the lower ones, and the upper ones are called auricles. Now the lower one or the front one is called ventricle because it is to the front side of the heart, and the upper one is called auricles. And auricles come, this word comes from the root auric, and auric means ear, as simple as that. So this right, they are named auricles because they appear in the shape of ear, that is why. And this one, the lower one, is called ventricle because it is in the front side. Okay, and the adjective can be ventricular or auricular. So from this we have our suffix, which is ular, and if this is attached to a certain word, that then it denotes something related to that. Okay, like auricular means related to auricles or related to ear also. This can mean auricular problem is a problem related to ears. Ventricular is related to ventricles or the ventral side. Circular is similarly muscular you have. And one important word we have in this book, which is avuncular. Now avunc or uncle, you can see here, this root is there. So uncle, as you know, is the brother of the father. So avuncular, generally we say like avuncular attitude. So if any person is behaving like an uncle, okay, and when we say uncle, we mean that uncles generally do have qualities like they are kind, affectionate, loving, compassionate, and they are protective also, and they are helpful also. So uncles generally do have these qualities. Okay, qualities. Okay, so anyone who has such qualities, that person is called avuncular, or that person is said to have avuncular attitude. Okay, so avuncular simply means someone who is extremely amiable or friendly. But if you see etymologically, then it means that someone who behaves like an uncle, and uncle have those kind features. Okay, so that is why when we say or when we call to somebody as uncle, so tacitly we mean these things, that you or that person possesses those qualities and we expect him to behave in that way. Okay, avuncular and uncle, right? dorsal, which is the back side of something. We have the words dorsal and ventral, and then we have this word which is ventridorsal also. Okay, so this combines both the words ventral and dorsal, and ventridorsal is any living being that has both the sides, ventral side also and dorsal side also. Okay, like human beings or monkeys or lizards and many other living beings. But there are many living beings which do not have this kind of division, like even like plants. We cannot say that any part of plant is front or back. Okay, so its plants are not ventridorsal, right? Dorsal, we have this important word indoors. Now, what is indoors? If you see it literally, here we have this in, which means in, okay, or something like yes, and dorsal is back. So for example, like when we say that we are endorsing a check, okay, so what we do on the back side of the check, okay, on the dorsal side of the check, we put our signature. Okay, so when we put our signature, we want to say that I support this check. Okay, so endorsing is to support, and when you are endorsing, what you are doing, you are writing something on the back side. Okay, or simply you are giving your signature something on the back side. Okay, or simply you are giving your signature on the back side, right? So this is how this is used when we say that we are endorsing a check. Apart from that, we can endorse any particular idea also. So endorse is to support. I support it. I support from the back. I endorse a concept. I endorse a plan. Okay, it's not plant, it's plan. Endorsing any particular action. Okay, endorse is to support. Now, earlier we had talked about vociferous. Now, vociferous is something like noisy, and we have two roots here, voci and ferus. Voci is, and ferus we have. So ferus means something that is full of. So if when we attach ferus to something, that becomes full of that particular thing. Okay. Now we have three or two in fact synonyms or similar words related to vociferous. So vociferous is noisy. Two more words are in your book, they will come repeatedly. So clamorous and vehement. So these three words, try to understand them together: vociferous, noisy, clamorous and vehement. Vociferous, noisy, clamorous and vehement. So all these are the adjectives of speech: vociferous speech, noisy speech, clamorous speech, vehement speech. Okay. Now we discuss this. So ferrous, as I told you, is a suffix to denote the fullness. Okay. So vociferous is full of voice, and we have this word melliferous. Also we have mellifluous. Now melli is one root here and ferrous is another. So melli simply means honey. Okay, so melliferous is full of honey. Now anything which is actually full of honey, that thing also can be called melliferous, like a mellifluous flower or any particular candy, something like that. Something like mellifluous voice or song. So here it means sweet, okay, as sweet as honey. So mellifluous voice is sweet voice, very pleasant voice, right? Crystalliferous word is there, anything which is full of crystals. Proliferous, there is one word. Now proliferous is something which can multiply rapidly. Okay, which multiplies rapidly or fastly, that is called proliferous. So this word in fact has been used to describe corona infection also. Okay, so it proliferated in certain parts of the world, okay, in India also. So this is proliferating any particular type of text, okay, or magazines or articles, they also sometimes proliferate. Okay, so this can also proliferate, which is to spread rapidly. Okay, cyber attacks have been also recently said to be proliferating in India. That is, they are growing very fastly. Okay, cyber attacks. Okay, and in market context also this has been used. For example, if any product is there, okay, if its supply has been used. For example, if any product is there, okay, if its supply is there rapidly increasing, then what we say, it is proliferously increasing. For example, in fact, you see these days that we have a lot of sanitizers in the market, and in fact masks also. So earlier they were not there. In the beginning there was a shortage of these items, but very quickly in recent times we can see that they are there in the market in a huge quantity. Okay, so they have been growing proliferously in the market, right? Another word is odoriferous. Okay, so what is odoriferous? Odor is smell, and odor is generally bad smell, not always but generally. So odoriferous is something which has bad smell, as simple as that. So it can be a body, okay, human body, it can be any particular thing, any chemical, okay, all those things. Odoriferous is full of bad smell. Okay, so here we have this suffix ferous denoting full of or fullness, right? Now we have one word which is called somniferous. Somniferous, and as you can see here we have this root somni or somna, and somna is our next root to be discussed, and very important once again, somni means sleep. In fact, what we have in Hindi and Sanskrit, swapna, okay, some comes from the same root. So somniferous, second root is ferous, so full of. Something which is full of sleep or which can cause sleep is called somniferous. Now we have so many drugs or so many food items, and in fact beverages also, alcohol beverages, they are all somniferous. So if any drug is there, any medicine is there, and on the back side or on the dorsal side if it is written that it is somniferous, so what it means, that it can cause a lot of drowsiness or sleep to occur. Okay, food items are there, certain combinations of food items are there which are somniferous. Beverages, alcohol, you already know that it causes sleep or it induces sleep. Okay, so somniferous. And apart from that, somniferous has been used figuratively to describe something like somniferous speech. We have been talking about speeches. So what is a somniferous speech? Somniferous speech is that speech which is a bit boring, uninteresting. What happens there? You start falling asleep. Okay, somniferous movies can be there, somniferous lectures can be there. In fact, many religious lectures are there. If you start listening to them, you fall asleep. Okay, so somniferous, full of sleepiness. That is the idea. And that is the idea. And another root for sleep is sopor. So here we have soporific. So soporific is just the synonym of somniferous. So keep this also in mind. Simply somniferous can be replaced with soporific because sopor is another root for sleep. Now, two more words related to sleep. In fact, these are disorders or diseases. One is insomnia, one is hypersomnia. So insomnia is when you are unable to sleep. In is some kind of negative prefix here. Okay, and somna is sleep. So insomnia is a disease when you cannot fall asleep. And just the opposite of that is hypersomnia. Hyper, as we know, is something more than the normal. Okay, so hypersomnia is when you excessively fall asleep. That condition is hypersomnia. Another disorder is somnambulism. Now we have this root here, somna and plus ambulism. Now, somna is sleep and ambul is to walk. Okay, or to make any kind of movement. So somnambulism is the problem of walking, okay, when you are asleep. So this is a strange problem, but many people, especially kids and some mental people, suffer from this. They start walking when they are asleep. Okay, so when they wake up, they do not remember. Once again, another interesting activity is somniloquy. And now you can guess the meaning of this word because we have discussed both the roots which are there. One is somni, another is loquy. Loquy, as you know, I think last time we had talked about, loquy is simply speech or speaking. So some people have the habit of speaking or uttering something. I think most of the people sometimes in their lives they say or they utter certain words during their sleep. So that thing is called somniloquy. Okay, speaking while sleeping, that is called somniloquy. So we have so many words from somna or sleep, and you can easily guess the meaning from this root somna. Now we talked about ambul in somnambulism, which is to walk while being asleep. Now we have many words from this root also, ambul. So ambulance we have. Okay, now, ambulance is called ambulance because it can walk anywhere. Okay, or earlier, there were not vehicles. So in the beginning, ambulance, they were not vehicles, but people used to carry certain stretchers to carry the patients. and these people used to walk everywhere carrying this particular scheme. Okay, so ambulance, simply ambulance, the idea is that it can walk anywhere. Ambulance, the idea is that it can walk anywhere, even in the vehicles also, which we have these days. It's ambulance because it can walk anywhere, right? Now another word is perambulator. Now perambulator is a device which you can see here, and this is used, as you can guess, to make your baby sit here, those who cannot walk, and then with the help of this device you can walk along with them or make them, stroll. So this particular device is called perambulator, or if you go to the market, the short form that is prevalent is called pram. Okay, so pram means perambulator, but the root, if you can see here, is amble because it also helps you in walking. Now next word we have is ambulatory patient. Now what is the meaning of this word? Imagine that a patient is there, and that patient is seriously ill and cannot walk in the beginning, but after getting or receiving some kind of treatment, that person is able to walk. Okay, and in that stage, when the patient or the person is able to walk once again, that stage is called being in the ambulatory stage, or that patient is called ambulatory patient. Okay, so simply it means walkable person or walkable patient. So ambulatory patient. Now we have this famous preamble of our constitution, or the constitution, which goes like, we the people of India having solemnly, and so on and so forth. Now why this is called preamble? We have two roots here. Pre is before, and amble, as you just got to know, is to walk. Now you must be knowing this also, that preamble comes in the beginning of our constitution. Okay, so in the very beginning you have preamble, which presents a kind of summary or the main principles of the constitution, like justice, equality, fraternity, all those things. Okay, so preamble literally means which walks before. So this constitution's preamble is coming before everything else which is there within the constitution. Before everything else which is there within the constitution. Okay, so preamble, that is why this literal meaning is also there, and the figurative or the deeper meaning is also the same, because if something walks before, then that is first and foremost and very important also, right? Now another kind of speech is articulated speech. Now artic or articulated is like this one is joints, or something which is tied together is articulated, is called articulated. So any speech, if you say that it is very logical, and the words and sentences, everything are and logical, so what you call that speech an articulated speech or well articulated speech, and it's a highly complimentary term, just like cogent. So in fact we have in any text, whatever text you have or writing you have or speech you have, three basic elements are there: words, sentences, and paragraphs. So the idea is that words should be articulated or joined or tied together beautifully or in a logical way, and then sentences must be tied together, okay, in a cogent way, Once again, paragraphs also should be tied together in a well decorated manner. So what you have as the result? An articulated speech, well articulated speech. What you have as the result? An articulated speech, well articulated speech. Okay, or text. On the other hand, when there is or there are no relations among words, among sentences, among paragraphs, they are haphazard. So what you call such a speech, such an speech? Inarticulate. Inarticulated speech. Okay, something like that. And this articulate, the noun is articulation. Okay, well articulation or mal articulation. Then articulate is the verb. Arti. So when, for example, if I say something to you and if you cannot understand that clearly, okay, so what you say? Please articulate in a proper way. So used as a verb also, this word. Now before we end this chapter, few words we could not complete or we missed them. So some are here, and in fact this group of 3 words should be remembered together: banal, trite and hackneyed. Banal, trite and hackneyed. And these words simply mean that, and they are all describing first of all some kind of a speech: banal speech, trite speech and hackneyed speech. And what's the something which is unoriginal? Okay, first of all, it's not something new. It has been discussed multiple times and it has become unoriginal. So unoriginal, therefore useless also. So often we see that people engage in speeches, talks or conversations which are banal, okay, or trite or hackneyed, right? So they are unoriginal, repeated, useless, unimportant, and simply, useless chattering is called banality, or trite or hackneyed conversation. Okay, so try to remember them in this group: banal, trite and hackneyed. Right? So these are also speeches and they're all, as you can guess, derogatory terms, so negative words, right? Banal also, trite also and hackneyed, all of them mean unoriginal, useless, unimportant and repeated conversation, right? And hackneyed, right? So that's it for today. We have completed this chapter from 24 to 27. We, if you remember, we skipped 24. So what we can do now, I think we can easily solve or practice the exercises of 27 also this particular session, and the one we skipped, that also now can be easily exercised. So good luck, practice the exercises, and thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time in the next sessions.